How many times have we gotten into trouble for saying something we should not have said, or for not keeping certain information as we should have? Welcome. In this video, we invite you to reflect on situations that teach us how to use the power of silence and to understand the impact of knowing when we must hold back our words whenever possible. It is better to say nothing. Words like bullets once fired have no return. Words can calm, generate warmth, inspire and mobilize, but like bullets, they can kill, wound or inflict suffering, as Aristotle said. A person is the master of their silence and the slave of their words. The antidote to not causing harm with words is silence, a force that, when used well, is a source of growth and the creation of trust. This is not simply about not speaking, but about transforming silence into a powerful tool that gives us the strength needed to face daily conflicts and adversities, allowing silence to nourish our mind and spirit. The power of silence manifests itself in different ways. Understanding when it is prudent to remain silent can be an invaluable skill. Below, we present 12 moments in which it is better for you to keep silent. 1. In noisy environments, use silence to attract people. Imagine this. You find yourself at a nighttime event in Australia, surrounded by the buzz of conversations filling the air like bees in a hive. Suddenly, a sudden calm envelops the place, drawing all eyes to someone who enters, not with excessive words or gestures, but radiating a sense of serenity and calm that contrasts with the noisy environment. This phenomenon illustrates how silence can capture attention without the need to utter a single word. Similarly, in a classroom full of murmurs, when the teacher pauses, the silence that follows brings back the student's attention. This moment of silence acts as a powerful reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there is an opportunity to regain focus and participation. Silence, in its essence, reflects the wisdom of Stoicism. It is not simply the absence of sound, but a deep presence. One who keeps silent not only listens, but also perceives what is not said. Understanding emotions and subtleties beyond words, their silence is not an act of isolation, but a deep commitment to the environment. They are often found at the epicenter. Being the nonverbal focus of any gathering, the power of silence is manifested in the most subtle gestures, from a genuine smile to a reflective gesture. Actions that reach directly to the soul. Therefore, adopt the silent art of charisma. Your presence and authenticity speak louder than your words. Let your silent charisma guide and transform not only your world, but also the lives of those around you. 2. When you want others to express themselves. Silence is conducive to attentive listening in a world saturated with noise and voices competing to be heard. Some choose a different path, that of silence and mindful attention. These people who speak with restraint become masters of the art of deep listening. Their ability is not limited to the spoken words, but penetrates the emotions and thoughts that accompany them. This skill allows them to absorb the richness of the information received and to see the world from different perspectives. When they finally speak, their words are not only heard, but also felt. The ability to listen attentively is a treasure in personal relationships, nurturing deeper connections and fostering mutual understanding in the professional field. This ability is equally invaluable. Those who master it can understand different points of view, navigate complex decisions, and resolve conflicts with a clarity that only comes from true listening. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have one mouth and two ears, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak." This phrase encapsulates the idea that deep listening involves embracing the power of silence, allowing others to express themselves, and obtaining perspectives and ideas that would otherwise be lost before continuing with the next situation. If you find value in this content, we invite you to leave in the comments your impressions on how to integrate silence into your life, or simply by saying, "I pay attention to silence in this way." We will transform this space into a shared growth experience. Do not forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe and activate notifications to continue receiving inspiring content. Your support is essential to continue sharing this message. 3. When you want to collect valuable information, use inciting silence. Use silence to discover the intentions of the other, which allows the other person to be laid bare, feeding their ego, provoking an attack of verbosity to pave the way for our interests. Inciting silence, also known as patient silence, is a powerful technique to uncover the true intentions of others. By remaining silent, we allow the other person to take control of the conversation, which often results in them revealing more than they intended. This type of silence is not passive, but an active strategy to gather valuable information by not interrupting and letting the other speak. We can study their most genuine thoughts and feelings, which provides us with a deeper understanding of their motivations and objectives. This approach is especially useful in situations where the other person has a strong desire to be heard or validated. By feeding their ego with our silence, we provoke a continuous flow of words that can emotionally strip them and reveal their true intentions. This technique can be used in negotiations, debates, or any interaction in which it is crucial to understand the priorities and weaknesses of the other patients. In our silence can disarm our interlocutor, making them feel comfortable and safe, which makes it easier for them to open up and show their cards. Furthermore, inciting silence paves the way for us to steer the conversation toward our own interests. Once we have gathered enough information through patient silence, we are in an advantageous position to influence the direction of the conversation. More effectively, we can formulate precise and strategic questions that guide the other toward conclusions that favor our objectives. This type of silence is not only a tool for discovery, but also for subtle manipulation, allowing us to advance our interests without direct confrontation. By mastering the art of inciting silence, we can manage interactions with greater shrewdness and effectiveness. 4. When you do not want to hurt others, use courteous silence, ideal for withholding what may bother the other. This helps us avoid creating enemies unnecessarily and to respect the other as different and legitimate. Courteous silence is a practice based on empathy and respect for others in many situations. Choosing silence instead of expressing something that could be hurtful or disturbing demonstrates a deep level of consideration for others' feelings. This approach allows us to maintain harmony in our interactions and avoid unnecessary conflicts by choosing not to say what could bother the other. We acknowledge and value their dignity as an individual, promoting a more peaceful and respectful coexistence. Moreover, courteous silence helps prevent the unnecessary creation of enemies in our personal and professional relationships. It is common to encounter differences of opinion and perspective. By practicing courteous silence, we avoid exacerbating these differences and instead seek points of understanding and cooperation. This type of silence does not mean repressing our ideas or agreeing with everything, but rather choosing the right moments and words to express them in a constructive and respectful way. In this manner, we can maintain healthier and more productive relationships based on mutual understanding and respect. Courteous silence also allows us to recognize and accept the other as someone legitimately different. Each person has their own experiences, values, and perspectives that deserve respect. By remaining silent about what may be offensive or disrespectful, we demonstrate openness and tolerance toward diversity. This type of silence fosters an environment of inclusion and respect where everyone feels valued and heard. Ultimately courteous. Silence is a powerful tool to build bridges and strengthen our connections with others by celebrating and respecting our differences. 5. When you want to avoid conflicts, use prudent silence. Prudent silence is a valuable tactic in the complex game of life where our objective is to gain the maximum number of allies and the minimum number of detractors. By choosing silence instead of direct confrontation, we avoid unnecessary conflicts that can erode our relationships and our reputation. This prudence does not imply cowardice, but rather an intelligent strategy to preserve our energy and resources for the battles that truly matter, instead of risking a confrontation that could result in a Pyrrhic victory where the costs outweigh the benefits. Prudent silence allows us to maintain peace and build a stronger support network. Moreover, prudent silence helps protect our reputation and credibility in situations where confrontation could lead to misunderstandings or exacerbate tensions. Remaining silent can be the wisest option. This approach allows us to avoid impulsive comments or emotional reactions that could be misinterpreted or used against us. By choosing our words and moments of intervention carefully, we demonstrate maturity and self-control, qualities that are highly valued in any social or professional environment. In this way, we preserve our integrity and earn the respect of those around us. Prudent silence also gives us the opportunity to observe and better understand the dynamics around us. By not rushing into confrontation, we can evaluate the situation with greater clarity and develop more effective strategies to handle challenges. This time for reflection allows us to consider multiple perspectives and anticipate the possible repercussions of our actions. Ultimately, prudent silence empowers us to make more informed and balanced decisions, strengthening our relationships and our position both personally and professionally. 6. When you have to make a decision, use silence in the face of difficult choices. Silence also plays a crucial role in decision-making. During moments of uncertainty or pressure, a silent pause can provide the calm needed to evaluate options with clarity and deliberation. This approach can reduce the influence of impulsive emotions and allow us to make more rational and well-grounded decisions. By integrating silence into our decision-making process, we can improve our ability to face complex challenges and handle difficult situations more effectively. In difficult decision-making, silence is more than a simple pause. It is a powerful refuge for deep reflection. This practice, rooted in Stoicism, encourages decisions based on clear and rational judgment away from emotional impulses. By immersing ourselves in this space of silence before deciding, we can explore the implications of our options and better prepare for their consequences. This process of reflection acts as a counterbalance to the frenetic nature of everyday life in a world where speed often outweighs quality. Stopping to reflect may seem counterintuitive. However, it is in these moments of pause that we find true wisdom. As the wise philosopher Epictetus said, "If you speak, you cannot listen. If you cannot listen, you cannot learn." Silence is necessary to listen and learn, allowing a deeper examination of all the variables involved in decision-making. It allows us to evaluate the long-term consequences of our actions and prevents hasty responses in high-pressure situations. From this state of calm, it is more feasible to consider all perspectives and possibilities, reaching balanced decisions that reflect our values and long-term goals. Imagine that you are in a medical emergency situation in Australia with a loved one. Suddenly, you are faced with a critical decision. Should you follow the doctor's advice and give consent for urgent surgery, or should you seek a moment of pause before making such an important decision under the pressure of time and the seriousness of the situation? You decide to turn to silence as a tool for deep reflection. You try to calm your emotional turmoil in order to make the most rational decision possible in that moment of pause and reflection. You remember a trusted doctor. You decide to pick up the phone and seek their personal opinion about the situation. Finally, when the doctor gives you their advice, you feel more confident making an informed and well-grounded decision based on their experience. This brief but crucial pause demonstrates how silence can be a powerful tool to stop, reflect, and seek additional wisdom in moments of crisis. 7. When misunderstandings arise, use the overwhelming force of silence. Well-managed silence in the face of aggression, harsh comments, or compromising questions is a powerful method of defense, and at the same time, a weapon that allows us to fight without fighting or without harming or being harmed. Silence is much more than the simple absence of words. It is the powerful manifestation of a calm and disciplined mind. In this context, silence becomes an essential tool to cultivate dignity and maintain our emotional autonomy. Silence involves the deliberate practice of withholding unnecessary or harmful words, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus affirmed. Never say anything that does not improve upon silence. Choosing silence is an act of wisdom and self-control that allows us to cultivate serenity and communicate more effectively and meaningfully with others. It helps us avoid unnecessary conflicts that often arise from misunderstandings or misinformation, beyond simply avoiding harmful conversations. Silence allows us to cultivate inner peace in a world full of external stimuli and pressures. It provides us with the necessary distance to reflect and gain mental clarity, disconnecting from automatic and emotional reactions and giving us greater autonomy in managing our emotional states. The Stoic practice of deliberately choosing when to speak and when to withhold our words is based on the idea that we can control our internal responses to external circumstances. This gives us the opportunity to observe our thoughts without external distractions. Moreover, in situations where the emotions can cloud judgment, controlling what we say offers us a respite to calm the mind and consider all options with greater objectivity. 8. When you are insulted, resist insults through silence. Using silence as a response to insults is a powerful tool of strength. Rather than being a passive response, it is an active way to resist the temptation to respond impulsively, thus avoiding giving power to the hurtful words of others. Buddha said that when we feel offended or provoked by someone, it is as if they have shot a dart at us. However, with our reaction of anger, rage, and frustration, we are the ones who generate the second and third dart, which we may even drive into some of the people we love most. Buddha urged that after that first dart, there should be no second or third choosing. Silence means not feeding the cycle of negativity that insults seek by not responding. In the same way, we show exceptional strength and self-control, demonstrating that our dignity and emotional stability are above the actions of those who try to demean us with their words. Ignoring these negative behaviors prevents the aggressor from achieving their goal of destabilizing us emotionally by not reacting to insults. We minimize the aggressor's power, who often loses interest in continuing their behavior when they realize we do not succumb to their disrespectful game. Silence acts as a powerful shield against those who seek to disrespect us, preventing an escalation of confrontations. Moreover, it allows us to reflect on the reasons behind the insults without being consumed by anger or resentment. By maintaining composure, we give ourselves the opportunity to analyze whether there is any truth in the criticism and to use that information constructively for our personal growth. If the insults are unfounded, silence reaffirms our self-esteem, reminding us that our worth is not determined by the opinions of others responding to insults. With silence is also an exercise in humility and compassion. Responding with hostility would only multiply pain for both parties. By not falling into the easy response, we strengthen our character and show empathy toward the internal battles each person faces. By remaining silent, one sends a message that maybe this is not about me, you can say whatever you want, it does not affect me, or simply I am not interested. Your comment or your challenge does not matter to me, and nothing hurts or bothers or discomforts me when we remain silent. Instead of reacting instantly, we not only protect our inner peace, but also positively influence our environment, showing that often true power lies in the words we choose not to say. 9. When you are about to lose control. Manage anger through silence. Managing anger through silence is essential as it teaches us to transform destructive emotions into opportunities for personal growth and reflection, instead of succumbing to anger in the face of everyday adversities. Silence offers us a powerful strategy to manage our reactions. Silence provides us with a space for reflection, a mental moment that allows us to process our feelings constructively. This silent pause is not simply the absence of words, it is a conscious strategy that allows us to stop, breathe deeply, and restore clarity and rationality to the mind. Choosing silence in situations that provoke us opens the door to a response aligned with our deepest values, giving us the necessary space to evaluate the situation with greater lucidity and determine a more thoughtful and less impulsive course of action. Furthermore, this practice fosters introspection, allowing us to explore the roots of our anger by pausing before responding. We allow ourselves to question, is this a justified response or simply the result of unmet expectations? This type of questioning leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the objective circumstances surrounding our initial anger. Introspection often improves our emotional regulation, allowing us to identify and manage anger triggers more effectively. In turn, silence teaches us to be more patient and tolerant by accepting that we cannot control the actions of others, but only our response to them. The practice of silence in conflict situations can also transform our personal and professional relationships. By fostering an environment of respect and mutual understanding, we promote greater harmony in our interactions with others. One of the great benefits of this reflective silence is that by observing us act in this way, others may be inspired to do the same, adopt similar approaches in their own lives, thus creating a calmer and more positive environment around us. The impact of silence extends far beyond ourselves, benefiting our surroundings and promoting a culture of empathy and mutual understanding. To when you are criticized, choose silence in the face of criticism. Responding with silence to external criticism is a powerful expression of self-control and emotional maturity. This approach is especially valuable when we face unfounded or malicious criticism. Choosing not to respond not only preserves our personal integrity but also provides us with greater peace and serenity. It is an exercise in wisdom and strength that demonstrates our understanding of what truly matters, our inner peace and coherence with our values. In the face of negative comments without foundation, our natural reaction may be to confront and defend our point of view. However, the conscious choice of silence fosters an environment of understanding and mutual respect. Refraining from responding does not imply that we accept or resign ourselves, but rather that we make a deliberate decision not to fuel a discussion that could be sterile or destructive. This decision allows both us and the person who attempted to offend us to reflect on the words and their possible consequences. Imagine that you are in a work meeting in Australia presenting a project that is important to you. When you present an innovative idea, instead of receiving recognition, some colleagues begin to criticize your proposal in an unfounded and dismissive way. What do you think your instinctive reaction would be? You would probably feel the need to defend yourself and disqualify them in return. But if you follow these principles and pause your mind for a moment to seek a more intelligent response by not feeding the confrontation and allowing emotions to settle, you open the door to a more productive and collaborative dialogue among everyone present. Moreover, by showing your ability to handle criticism with composure, you gain the respect and admiration of others while giving yourself time to analyze what the most appropriate response would be. The Stoics teach us not to react impulsively to difficulties, but to contemplate them calmly before deciding how to act. In this way, silence becomes an expression of Stoic virtue, not as a way to evade problems but as a tool to face them consciously and proactively. 11. In complex circumstances, find silence and say goodbye to distractions. The journey of life requires an essential skill, being able to eliminate distractions by finding silence in the midst of the chaos around us. Silence, often underestimated in its power, is an invaluable tool in everyday life. In a world saturated with noise and distractions, finding moments of silence can offer clarity and focus by allowing us to disconnect from external commotion. Silence creates a space for reflection, and this deliberate pause helps us process our experiences and emotions, giving us a deeper understanding of ourselves and our environment. Throughout history, we find numerous examples of great minds who used moments of silence and stillness to make clear decisions and achieve success in their life purposes. Mahatma Gandhi, known for periods of retreat and meditation, deeply understood the importance of silence as a tool for reflection and mental clarity. For Gandhi, silence was not simply the absence of noise, but an inner state of calm and peace that allowed him to connect with himself and with his higher purpose. Through his periods of silence and reflection, Gandhi found the strength and clarity necessary to lead movements of peaceful resistance and achieve his goals of justice and freedom. In this way, silence was not only an integral part of his spiritual practice, but also a powerful tool for his activism and inspiring leadership. As the emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "The wise person finds peace within, even in the midst of the noise of the external world. It is in those moments of calm where we can separate information from noise. The calm mind has the space to think strategically and visualize the full picture of life like a chessboard. Silence allows our mind to wander freely, making connections that could be lost amid chaos." This deep concentration not only implies being present, but also fully committing to the task at hand, which leads us to greater productivity and creativity. Every word spoken after a careful pause carries significant weight. Silence prepares the ground for decisive movement. The antechamber of the leap forward in Stoic philosophy, silencing external distractions to focus on what lies within ourselves, is considered a form of self-mastery. A strategic pause that allows us to clearly evaluate circumstances and make conscious decisions. 12. When you feel insecure, choose silence and solitude. Fear of silence, rooted in the avoidance of solitude and dependence on external validation, leads us to constantly seek attention, weakening our inner strength. However, by accepting solitude, we discover a transformative gift, the ability to face ourselves authentically. This time alone allows us to recharge and cultivate a sense of inner peace essential for maintaining emotional balance. By learning to value and take advantage of silence, we not only improve our ability to face the noise of the external world, but also develop an inner strength that sustains us in times of adversity. It urges us to find happiness in the present, freeing us from anxiety about the future. The student, by embracing solitude, exemplifies this wisdom. Their ability to be present in silence without longing for external validation demonstrates an inner strength rooted in self-confidence. Silence, in this context, allows us to confront our true essence without masks or adornments, freeing us from the weight of external approval. It grants us the ability to find strength and happiness within ourselves, regardless of circumstances. Thus, like the student, you can carry life with composure, trusting your preparation and your inner potential, which is infinite. Remember that your success is not measured by the approval of others, nor by external appearances, but by your determination and ability to persevere. Trust yourself and your abilities, and do not hesitate to pursue your dreams with passion and confidence in yourself. We invite you to adopt the power of silence in your own life. Let every moment of pause be an opportunity to deepen your inner knowledge. In summary, each type of silence has its own application and benefit, offering a valuable strategy to navigate the complexities of human relationships and social dynamics. By mastering the art of silence, we not only strengthen our ability to listen and understand, but also acquire a powerful tool to influence, persuade, and lead more effectively. Remember, silence is not emptiness, it is potential. It is where ideas are born and the deepest connections flourish. Immerse yourself in it as an ally in your search for authenticity and fulfillment. If you have made it this far, write in the comments, "Silence is my ally," so we know who the travel companions are who reach the end. Do not forget to subscribe, activate notifications, and like the video so you do not miss the upcoming ones. We also invite you to explore our playlist that you will find on the screen, full of ideas, stories, lessons, and advice designed to help you face life with greater wisdom and confidence. Until the next video.